We promise that we will finish the program on time. So I would like to greet the mayor, the city manager for EThekwini, Councillor Mkhulisi, who's coming from Salka, who's the chairperson of Salka in the province, Inkosi Umlaba, who's with us today, representing Amakhosi within EThekwini region. And also I would like to greet all business leaders with us this morning. I see quite a number of them. And I'm happy that we are slowly going back to normality. We are here at the Inkosi Albert Luthuli International Convention Center. We're supposed to be less than 50. And I hope maybe in a month or 2 months' time, we'll be saying we are supposed to be less than 500, because we need to go back to normal business in as far as business tourism is concerned. Before we proceed with our program, we would like to request every person present to rise for the national anthem. Thank you.
It was supposed to be evacuation first.
Evacuation plan.
Oh.
Then the national anthem.
Ngathi ngiziphutha la kuthiwa siqale sifana sithole evacuation plan, and then from there then kuzobe sekuba national anthem. Mhlambe singathi ukuthi gozololo kancane sibone le evacuation makuphela yona kuzobe sengena national anthem. Thank you.
Welcome to the Durban ICC, where the world meets Africa. As a leading world-class events facility, we make your safety our #1 priority. Please give us your attention for a few minutes to take you through some important health and safety information. As the Durban ICC is a public space, please remember to keep your personal belongings safe and with you at all times. We have many bathrooms for you to use around the venue. They are clearly marked in the foyer and concourse areas. The Durban ICC is a smoke-free building, but we do have clearly marked smoking zones outside the main entrance and in the courtyards opposite the concourse. Please make use of these areas and the ashtrays provided when you smoke. In the event of a medical emergency, please dial the emergency number 031 360 1007 for assistance. The Durban ICC has developed a very simple emergency evacuation plan that everyone must be familiar with. Our staff are specially trained and will be there to assist you in following this plan. In the event of an evacuation, an announcement will be made to leave the venue. Please remain calm and walk swiftly to the nearest emergency exit in the concourse area. These exit doors are clearly marked. Security guards and the marshals will also help direct you out of the building. Please do not use any lifts or escalators in the event of an emergency. Once outside, you will be directed to the nearest assembly point by the marshals for your safety. Please wait at the assembly point until the venue has been cleared and the marshal deems it safe for you to return to your seats. Thank you for your time and enjoy this event.
Okay, siyabonga. Kushuthi ke sesingathi ukusuma kancane and then sithole national anthem. Siyabonga. No, thank you very much. This program it's also a virtual program, so we've got communities that are joining us through various platforms as we embark on the program. So I'm now going to call upon the city manager, the acting city manager, Mr. Cele. I'm saying the city manager because he used to say to me, there's nothing acting because you've got all the powers to do the work in front of you. So acting city manager Ndosi, can you come and address us for the next 10 minutes on the overview on the state of the city and highlights the economic activity and outlook survey? Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director, our DCM for Economic Development, Planning and Tourism, Ubaba Ujobe. Your Worship, our Mayor, Ubaba Councillor Umxolisi Kaunda, Chairs of EXCO committees and members of EXCO present. And maybe at this point I can single out the chair of the Economic Development Committee, Baba Usipo Kaunda, and his leadership in the committee. Mama, Chair Wesalga in our province as representing organized local government. Councillors present from our municipality and mayors who are joining in virtually from other parts of our province who have joined in solidarity and support. The provincial leadership present, Ubaba Umlaba, Inkosi Yesizwe, Samaklimba, Yabingelela Nkosi yaseNdlunkulu. Leaders of business chambers, the Durban Chamber, NAFCOC, FAPCOS, Minara, the leadership of the Growth Coalition, leaders of civil society organizations, youth, women, people with disability, and other significant role players in civil society, the members of the academic fraternity, the diplomatic corps, and the media, can I take this opportunity and greet you all on behalf of our great city of EThekwini and its leadership. It's a great pleasure for me to stand here before you on this August occasion, the occasion which marks a very significant milestone in the leadership's program. When our mayor started last year as a deployment from the province, he had this as a vision, and he actually indicated that he would like to see us having such a forum established, namely the Economic Development Council of EThekwini. And therefore, it's an honor for me to stand before you when we actually are registering this achievement, and particularly the leadership is confirming its road towards economic recovery through this milestone. This particular launch Program Director, takes place at a time when I think all of us are aware of the hardships and difficulties that the business community has experienced and faced in the past 4 months under the new normal of working under the COVID pandemic. And we all know that we have had significant negative setbacks that have been experienced. And however, I think we also all know that in spite of the difficulties, there has been commitment and perseverance from all the sectors within eThekwini to try and keep our city afloat. And thanks to all of you for having actually held hands with the city as we tried to keep the city afloat, as we tried to make the lives of our citizenry out there better, as we tried to also provide the services that we needed to provide in order to facilitate that effort of keeping us afloat. We know that the hospitality industry has been impacted, and also the tourism industry likewise has been impacted. But of course, it's not just those sectors that are tourism-based that have been impacted. The impacts have also seen their way through to the manufacturing sector and other industries, the financial sector. And in short, no sector has been left untouched by the pandemic. And therefore, a launch of a council such as this one will help us to get ourselves back on our feet, first and foremost, but secondly, it'll help us to make sure that in unison, we actually work together in ensuring that the city does progress forward, economically speaking. We have got and still are running the catalytic projects of the city, which ensure that the various sectors of our economy receive the necessary impetus to move forward and are able to have city input and injection into the economy so that business can then hold hands and partner with us in attempting to do that. The city also would want to declare, and maybe the leadership will declare later as well, but from the administration, we would like to declare that it is our commitment to actually make sure that doing business with the city is an easier thing to have and do. And maybe doing business with the city starts with some of the things that we have to do within the administration to make it a point that there is efficiency. It takes a shorter time for plans to be approved. It takes a shorter time for decisions to be made around the decisions that you require to actually make the investments necessary to take our city forward. Having said that, I would like to say thank you for all of you for having honored the invitation from the mayor and made yourselves available for this launch. And we hope that we will, through this interaction and interactions to come, will actually make a difference in the lives of our people in eThekwini, the lives of our people in the province, and the economic life of our country. And thank you very much, and all the best. Thank you, Program Director.
Okay, siyabonga. Sizocela sesiya kuma messages of support. We are now going to the messages of support. We will start with Professor S. Moyo. Not sure whether Professor, okay, no, thanks ma'am. So Professor Moyo is representing the academia in the city. She's going to give us a message of support. The time slot, it's not more than 5 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you, Program Director. Good morning, everyone. Morning. You sound sad. We're supposed to be celebrating. For some of us, it's the first day out since March. So it's a very special day, and it's special in the sense that it's September, and yesterday we just celebrated the World Literacy Day. So I think the launch of this council comes at a very good time. So I'm Sibusiso Moyo. I'm based at the Durban University of Technology, and my role was really to give a message of support from academia. So I want to just acknowledge His Worship, the Mayor, Councillor Kaunda, the members of the EThekwini Economic Council, which is being launched today, the Durban Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and at this point, I'll just say I acknowledge all protocols so that I don't leave out everybody, so all protocols observed. It gives me great pleasure to give a message of support on behalf of academia in our province and in KZN on this very special occasion on the launch of the EThekwini Economic Council. So the EThekwini Economic Council will serve as a social compact, providing strategic advice on economic development, inclusive growth strategies, and provide support to the city's leadership. So in our DUT Vice Chancellor's Iminingo, our Vice Chancellor DUT likes to send us messages at least once a month. And so I tried to quote him here because the last communication we had was about reflecting on lessons learned from COVID-19. So Professor Mtembu writes about how COVID-19 has presented us with a good intellectual problem, mainly because we've had many challenges. Irrespective of where we come from. It is unprecedented, and what we have learned and thought we knew over the many years, the way we've grown up, the way we do things, in our cultural norms, everything that we knew has changed. It has been shaken by uncertainty. He also adds that sadly, death also lives amongst us. We know that many in our communities have lost their loved ones, and many have been affected by the pandemic. There are many job losses, obviously, in our region, and it's not just where we are, but countrywide and also within the continent. So on this note, obviously, we pray and remember those that have lost their loved ones and those whose lives have been affected negatively by the pandemic. So life as we know it will never be the same. We have a new normal now, which we have to embrace and be innovative in the way we find the way forward. So as we move our lives post-COVID-19, we have to use our values compass. That is to believe that we'll survive this pandemic and come out stronger in the end. This will mean developing the resolver attitude like Cuba. If you look at Cuba, which despite its economic challenges and being left behind in technology, it's one of the places where you might find one of the oldest cars or models on the planet currently. So if we use the resolver attitude, which Cuba has in terms of surviving and being one of the leading countries in terms of medical technology, you'd ask yourself, how can a country so poor yet be quite innovative in terms of the way they contribute to innovation? They are leading pioneers in the world currently in terms of treatments for lung cancer and becoming the first to successfully prevent HIV transmission between mother and child. So if we ask ourselves if Cuba can do this, we are really in a better position as the province, as South Africa as well. In the recent book I read on Values Compass by Dr. Mandip Ray, where she talks about Cuba, she defines Cuba as a beacon of literacy. And I say this mainly because yesterday we celebrated World Literacy Day, which was it's a UNESCO proclaimed day. And during this day, we normally raise awareness and concern for literacy problems that exist within our communities. And I say this because as academia, we have a big role to play. If we talk about literacy, currently, we are talking about the ability to read and write, the ability to have skills that help members of our society. And the biggest skill we need now, apart from digital skills, digital literacy, digital skills, which are key for our people to participate actively in the economy. The other skills are information literacy. So obviously through this forum, I believe that we'll be able to come together with solutions which allow our population to have access to information, whether it's on business opportunities, services, skills that are available, SMME sector within our province sector support as well, scientific literacy, maths literacy, media literacy, critical literacy, asking questions, why are we doing things the same way? What can change? Academia has a big role to play to ensure that schooling from primary to tertiary education is taking place, especially now when a lot of our kids may not have access to online learning just as much as they can have data. But issues around connectivity in the areas, some rural areas, even areas out of reach, where our students are not able to connect to have access to online learning. So we have to make sure that as academia, we are contributing to that, and it's a whole ecosystem. And if we look again to other areas, other countries where we can learn a lesson from, it's areas like Sweden, where cooperation between government, university and schools and industry, the corporates, is very strong. Sweden has a population of 10 million, but it's one of the leading countries in technology. And if you look at our population and where we are, we have a lot of resources. But what we need to strengthen is that collaboration between government, local government, and in this case, obviously, the mayor's office is leading us in this area, our business partners, industry partners, who should play a big role in ensuring that we increase access to education and skills training from primary school, actually, because when I looked at the Swedish model, the industry is involved in schools, not just university. They collaborate with the schools. They are very involved in some of the programs that take place, and we need to push that agenda as well. So having said that, some of the programs we need to focus on, obviously, are around youth empowerment. Many of our youth, we know, they can get degrees, but even after getting degrees, they can't find jobs. So the question of a degree is also becoming a question. Why get a degree if you can't get a job? So we were told many years ago that when we go to school and get a degree, we can get a good job and then be happy thereafter, but things have changed. So the agenda around entrepreneurship and how we drive that agenda is very important. So as universities, as you have heard now, DUT being ranked one of the top 500 universities in the country, and I know UKZN also, which is very high on the ranks. For this province, I think we have enough resources between MUT, UKZN, and also we shouldn't forget the TVET sector. That plays a very big role in terms of skills training and the community colleges. So we want to just say to the mayor and the city as well to say thank you very much for this initiative and for inviting us to be part of the team that also contributes to the development of the region, because no region can develop on itself, and universities also cannot be islands on their own, like living in an ivory tower. So we need to play that role as well. And I look forward really to the many engagements that we'll have, and also to making sure that we become the best city in the world, which I believe that we have the potential to do that, because Durban has won many awards in the past. And we can get out of this situation, and we can become better than what we were before. So thank you so much, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Moyo, and thanks for those encouraging words and the stats that you have given around IT and how a country like Sudan is becoming a leading player. And we hope that South Africa and Durban in particular will join the queue. So the next speaker who's going to give us a message of support is Benedict Khumalo, who comes from the property sector. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Jobe, DCM. Good morning to the Mayor, Nkosi Mlaba, Chair Lady of SALGA, EThekwini officials, all the virtual participants. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. As a private sector, we're delighted of this initiative, as it is in such extraordinary times like this COVID pandemic, experienced all around the world where there seems to be no hope. But as with every dark cloud, there is always a silver lining. As we become more resourceful and find ways of doing business more efficiently, we know that together the public and the private sector can come up with implementable, quick wins, short-term and long-term implementable projects for the benefit of all, as it is about time and inclusivity has never become more important. As with the tragedy of 9/11 in New York, a new and even better designed Twin Towers for all emerged, and we can learn from this. As with all the major port cities around the world that contribute majorly to their country's GDP, for example, Shanghai, Los Angeles, New York, and Hong Kong, just to mention a few. EThekwini can do the same and can be the powerhouse of economic growth for South Africa, as we are a port city as well. And how can we do this? In concentrating on removing red tape and bureaucracy and having a sense of urgency in doing business. We do welcome this mayor, and we will work together. We believe this council will not be a talk shop, but will be reporting on implemented, tangible results in the near future. As the Zulu saying states, Imbila yasela umsila ngokuyalezela. Siyabonga, and we welcome this. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you, Benedict, on your message of support. We've got Dr. Tutu here, who is a medical doctor. So now Dr. Tutu has forwarded me a WhatsApp, which is, I think it's a medical advice. So I have to read it. He's congratulating us on the good initiative, but she's also reminding us that there must be a free flow of air in this room. So she's requesting that the doors be a little bit open. So this is the advice from the doctor. So I'm just reading it as it is. So cela ukuthi ke sithi uvula nje kancane iminyango. Then let's move to the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mrs. Palisa Pili, who's the CEO of the Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who's going to give us a less than 5-minute message of support.
Thank you very much, DCM Stole. Before I start, I would like to assure you that I'd written a very long speech, but I'll try and cram it in less than 5 minutes, according to the statement that you've made. I'd like to start the greetings to our mayor, to the leadership of EThekwini Municipality, to all the dignitaries here this morning, to the business leaders that we have here this morning, my fellow chamber leaders that we have here this morning. I'd like to greet you all. My speech today is not going to be necessarily focused on the Durban Chamber, but I'm also going to be talking on behalf of the other organized business formations that we have here in EThekwini Municipality. In the city, it's not just the Durban Chamber that represents the voice of business. There is the KZN Growth Coalition that we have today, represented by Mr. Moses Tembe. We have got a Minara Chamber. I haven't seen any representative of Minara Chamber this morning. And we also have got NAFCOC. I also have not seen the representative of NAFCOC this morning. However, we as an organized business community, Mr. Mayor, we would like to start, first of all, commend yourself and your team to make sure that to make sure that we have the Economic Council for our city in eThekwini. Within the province, there is a provincial Economic Council, and we've always felt that it's very important, the city being the biggest contributor to the GDP of the province, that the city itself needs to have its own Economic Council, comprising, of course, of not just government, but business leaders as well. And like Bernadette said earlier on, to come up with proper actionable things that will assist in ensuring that we grow the economy of our province. The COVID-19 pandemic has really brought a lot of businesses, both in our city, in our country, in the world, to a complete halt. And this has really translated to huge revenue losses, huge job losses that we are going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks to months. And yesterday's release of the country's GDP figures were really did not come as a surprise in terms of the big dent in our GDP. So as the organized business, Mr. Mayor, we believe that when we see these challenges that we have, we really need to come together, work very closely together with government to make sure that we implement plans that will ensure that we grow our ailing economy and create the much needed jobs that we need to. So an initiative such as this really gives us comfort, because as organized business, we always believe that it's very important for government to have a very close relationship with business. The business community is the community that creates jobs, not government. So government working together with us and us talking to you, requesting the assistance that we need to make sure that we grow those jobs is what will help us to make sure that we grow the economy of our city. Hence, the Durban Chamber, as well as the business community, we strongly support the establishment of the eThekwini Business Council, and we're very optimistic that this social impact will provide strategic advice and insight to the economic development matters and promote creative and innovative solutions that are pressing to our city, our province, and our country. We do believe that the business community and the municipality of eThekwini could rise above their competing interests and unite, and once that happens, the rest will follow, which will just be the success of the growth of our economy and the creation of those much-needed jobs. As organized business, we strive to lead businesses towards profits and with conscience. It is for this reason that we believe that business, government, and civil society should stand together in addressing the economic development issues that impact our economy. We call on all our members, all the members of the organized business communities, that includes the corporates, that includes the medium business, the small medium enterprises, as well as the informal community. We call on all of you to take advantage of the opportunity to engage the eThekwini Economic Council through the different business representative formations that you are in. And it is time that we change our mindsets and strive to make Durban a better place for all. We'd like to thank you very much for this, and we're looking forward to more engagements. And maybe just a compliment from my side, Mr. Mayor and your team. We also commend you that you started this session off with a presentation of ladies coming through. So we commend you in that, and we see your commitment towards ensuring that the women's voice is heard. Thank you.
Sibonge CEO of Durban Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mrs. Pili, thank you very much, and thanks for the words of support. And these are the words of support representing all chambers of commerce in the city. I would like to call upon Inkosi Umlaba, undabezitha ukuthi azokhuluma nathi. Sibonga kakhulu ukuthi abe nathi and siyabuhlonipha ubukhosi bendabuko eThekwini. Mhlambe ukuthi phambi kokuthi aqale ukukhuluma singamhlonipha ngokusukuma. Mase eqala ke bese sibuya sithathe ihlalo zethu. Sibonga kakhulu Baximba ndabezitha.
Sanibona. Nina besilo, nina bendlovu enamandla, ngiyanibingelela. Program Director, EThekwini Municipality, Councillor Mxolisi Kaunda, Mayor from various municipality, Deputy Mayor, Belinda Scott, EThekwini Executive Committee members, councillors, business leaders, organized labor, ladies and gentlemen, ngiyanibingelela. Good day and warm welcome to all you. It's given me a pleasure to welcome you all this official launch of the EThekwini Economic Council, a much anticipated forum which I am hopeful will contribute significantly to the community, to the economic growth of our city and job creation. Allow me to take this opportunity to congratulate EThekwini Municipality led by Kaunda for this wonderful initiative. As the House of Traditional Leaders, we commit and pledge our full support in ensuring that the plans of these councils change the lives of our people in all corners of the metro, more especially in rural communities, which makes up 68% of this municipality. It is crucial that the EThekwini Economic Council pays attention to the rural areas because these communities contribute to the influx and migration of people to urban areas to access better opportunities for an improved quality of life. Ngiyacabanga Mayor ukubone lokho ukuthi kuyenzeka akumile abantu balele befudukele njalo emadrobheni lokho kwenza mhlambe kugcine sekumenyene kakhulu akukho mhlambe singakuthi kubhekwe kakhulu endaweni zasemakhaya. We trust that this forum will key in addressing issues of apartheid, special development, and bring opportunities closer to where our people live. This will assist in making this municipality economically sustainable. As the House of Traditional Leaders, we will be working with this Economic Council to find lasting solutions to economic challenges facing our people in traditional authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, rural communities have a great potential in growing our economy. We are hopeful that this Economic Council will assist us in accelerating the establishment of cooperatives to bring more people into the mainstream economy, particularly those who were excluded. Mr. Mayor, when you tabled your 2021 budget speech, you committed the city to provide institutions and infrastructure that will enable the economic and society to flourish. Therefore, the establishment of this council is a step in the right direction. To the members of the council, I want to caution you that you have a huge responsibility on your shoulders to ensure that the lives of people of EThekwini change for the better. We want to ensure that you will have our full support in executing this unenviable task. On behalf of the traditional leaders in EThekwini, we once again wish to express our gratitude on the formation of this council, and we are committed to work with all stakeholders to build an inclusive economy, create much needed jobs. Ngiyabonga.
Sibonga kakhulu ndaba ezitha. Ngiyabona ukuthi isikhathi siyazama ukusibamba. Sesingena ke ohlelweni manje lokuthi sicele i-message of support from the chairperson of SALGA in KwaZulu-Natal, Councillor N. Mkhulisi from King Cetshwayo Municipality. Sibonga kakhulu ma ukuthi ube kanye nathi uqhamuka komunye umasipala noma uzeke ngikepisi le SALGA, kodwa ke siyabonga ukuthi ube nathi eThekwini, nathi sithemba ukuthi siyoba nawe kwi-King Cetshwayo Municipality ngelinye ilanga mhlambe njengabavakashi. Siyabonga.
No, thank you very much. I think, Mayor, I like the latter part of the program director, who already has committed on behalf of our metro. Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity as well to join other speakers that have been here today in, of course, observing the protocol of the day. But it is important, first and foremost, is to start by yourself, Mayor, Your Worship, Mxolisi Kawunda, my colleague. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi namhlanje ubone kusifanele ukuba sibe ingxenye yokuphumelelisa iphupho onalo nokusala umkhandlu phambili. Siyafisa ukuqala ngokunibongela before we present our message of support, but first and foremost appreciate such a good and positive initiative from our only one and economic hub eThekwini. We are following as the third one from Richards Bay. We are therefore learning some lessons from what you are doing. I want also as well to acknowledge ubukhona benkosi yakamlaba phakathi kwethu amakhansela onke akhona, chairpersons of amakomiti, nethimba yakho yonke as a collective, the business sector, but also the academia sector. I do want also to acknowledge, I've seen one of my colleagues, Mayor Gwala, and others that might also be part of such a beautiful launch. We meet here today during the global economy when it is projected to contract by 4.9% in 2020, where the COVID-19 pandemic has more negative impact on activities in the first half of 2020 than anticipated, and the recovery is projected to be more gradual than previously forecast. Even though in 2020 global growth is projected at 5.4%, this is 6.5% lower than the pre-COVID-19 projections of January 2020. This may not sound like a lot, but in reality, a 6.5 contraction in global growth has a real and adverse impact. It is particularly severe on low-income households, impeding the significant progress made in reducing extreme poverty in the world since the 1990s. SALGA today is presenting 3 messages to this launch of EThekwini Economic Council. The first one is on economic recovery, that we say it must be deliberate. Second one is in economic growth, that we are saying it must be redistributive. And the third one is on economic growth that must be driven by modernization. We are, of course, at the same time want to illustrate that economic growth and economic development cannot be separable. Economic development is also going to be influential in terms of the strategy that needs to be employed and applied moving forward, in particular during this hard time after COVID-19 and our moving forward in terms of what we are planning as our recovery strategies. Therefore, our focus on the 3 message also is influenced by that. But second to the influence is also the whole issue of the 3 challenges that as a country we have been continuously faced with. And then responding to the 3 challenges of unemployment, inequalities and poverty, we are now facing with this other new challenge of the impact on COVID-19. Therefore, our message is mostly informed by that. On deliberate economic recovery, we're saying, Mhlonishwa Umeya, the global growth numbers are not distant from us since the South African economic also contracted due to COVID-19. And that goes without saying. What is important is what we're doing and what we're going to do moving forward. We must be cautious that implications of discount on municipal leases, rebates and deferrals of payments must be on case-by-case basis. That's what we believe in as SALCA nationally. We therefore want to say as well that as we revive and relook to your strategy, ekakhulukazi njengeTheku liwumnotho wethu sonke, ngoba uma kukhwehlela iTheku siyokhwehlela sonke KwaZulu-Natal futhi siyokhwehlela sonke kwi-South Africa. We are therefore saying we must be able to re-energize the buying of our local production, investing in the local campaigns, and that also needs to be monitored by the municipalities' income and health of the local economic closely. We are therefore very much excited that such initiative that is launched today is, of course, going to be assisting in coming closer and looking forward to that, supporting what is initiated by the mayor himself. On the second one, Mayor was saying the focus on the redistributing growth so that many people will benefit, in particular those that are coming from the background of the disadvantaged groupings in our communities, in our societies. Was therefore saying opening up more on those sectors that were closed up for those disadvantaged groups from the areas in where we come from, endaweni zamakhosi, will also be important in terms of the redistributing what is going to be achieved in terms of production of the growth of the economy. And the third one, which is the last one, Mayor, it is economic growth that must be driven by modernization. We're now living on the new normal, and the new normal also has its own implications that will, of course, also inform the growth of your economy, of our economy, but the inclusion of whatever that will be caused by the change. We're therefore saying is SALCA, we should be able to be modernizing that one, responding, of course, to the call that during this epoch of our revolution, a call of ensuring that we are all capacitated to be able to respond to the fourth industrial revolution is also going to be critical. But also it should be strong, we should have strong message on the cooperation that remains essential on multiple fronts. The liquidity assistance is urgently needed for our SMMEs as well, ukuba kwazi pick up and also kwazi respond direct to where now the country is going. Therefore, this council must advise on how also we can be able to cooperate to resolve trade and technology tensions that lead to dumping of cheap goods in our economy that endanger an eventual recovery from the COVID-19 crisis. Program Director, Mhlonishwa Mayor, this council must provide oversight, I believe, in terms of them advising, and we appreciate that you are also aligning yourself with the model of the district development that also is inclusive and including all stakeholders, all sectors of the economy of EThekwini. It's what also we appreciate as we congratulate you on this new baby that we're all looking forward to see it and also to learn from it. And also, you know, Thina njengoSALCA, we lobby, but also we learn from each other. We are looking forward to learn from EThekwini njengehlala mnotho lethu sonke KwaZulu-Natal, hayi EThekwini kuphela, inkosi ishilo. Yathi sonke sidepende la ukuthi iTheku malikhula sithatha ukuthi sikhule sonke. Thank you very much, Program Director and the Mayor.
Okay, so we are now coming towards the end of the program. Sibonge ku Mama Umkhulisi, Councillor Umkhulisi, from King Cetshwayo municipality. So ngicabanga sizwile ukuthi Richards Bay is a King Cetshwayo. Manje ngazi ngakho bengithi ngizovakasha ngebhishi eKing Cetshwayo Richards Bay. Okay, so let us now come towards the closure, and we will be addressed by the Mayor of EThekwini Municipality, Councillor Mxolisi Kaunda, who has been with the city for more than 12 months now. And part of what he wanted to introduce was an economy that is growing, that addresses what Councillor Mxolisi was talking about. And his vision was also to work with partners, various partners, and establish various platforms that will work with him in addressing the challenges that the city is facing in as far as the economy is concerned, and also in as far as community development is concerned. So the mayor is a mayor from EThekwini by birth. I know the surname might be misleading. So he's from here, he's from Inanda, to be precise. So he's here to address us now on the economic recovery plan and a call to action. But Mayor, there's always been an outcry on the slowlessness of us in responding to what the business is putting forward. We hope that in your speech you will touch on how the city is going to respond to that and how the economic recovery plan is going to be a Bible going forward. Bab Mayor.
Can I break the law for a few minutes? So you have all endorsed the breach of the law, so you must be arrested as well. Thank you very much, Babu Jobe Mondisa, the Deputy City Manager of Economic Development in our city. Ngikhuleke kuhlalo wendlu yobukhosi bendabuko lapha eThekwini lakithi, inkosi ubaba Mlaba. Sibingelele kakhulukazi kuhlalo wethu kuSalga lapha kwaZulu Natal, aphinda abe ngumeya wase King Cetshwayo district municipality uKhansela Mkhulisi. Sibingelele ozakwethu the mayors who joined us here physically from their local municipalities and the districts. Sibingelele babuzwide imeya seHerigwala district municipality. Siyabonga Zwide usuka kude uvuka ekseni ngo5 ukuze ufike eThekwini. And ujalo khamba ngestimela, so ke siyabonga kakhulu usuke kude kangaka usijoyine namhlanje. Sine mayor futhi yogu municipality I district ubaba Mapholoba okhona phakathi kwethu. Siyabonga Mapholoba, ngiye ngasho ukuthi ngicishe ngakudlula ngingakuboni ngenxa side sigayizile sonke, kodwa ke mina nawe sibe nayo inkinga yebala. Sibingelele futhi kumeya we district iZululand district municipality ubaba uShengo sefikile phakathi kwethu. Siyabonga Nqengelele, sibonga kakhulu tusukele kude egcineni kwezwe lalapha kwaZulu Natal uyongena kwamanye ama provinces. Siyabonga ukuthi uyinikeze ithuba lokuthi ube khona. All mayors who are following us through social media and other platforms. The chief whip of our municipality, ubaba uKhabazela okhona phakathi kwethu, chairperson of economic development ubaba uKhaunda. Ngihlale ngideclare ke bakwethu ngoba hlale kubuye investigate izinto zo nepotism nani. I must declare that he's my biological brother, but we are here being assigned by the movement to work in this city. Sibingelele uhlalo wenqalasizinda, infrastructure and human settlement, ubaba uSabelo okhona phakathi kwethu. Sibingelele ama-councillors e-court akhona, ngimbonile uWhip okhona phakathi kwethu. Sibingelele wonke ama-councillor silandelayo kulolu hlelo lanamhlanje. Sifisa ukubingelela kwi-business, sibingelele kakhulu kubaba uTembe, uhlalo we-Growth Coalition in our province, ehamba nobaba u-Andrew Capels okhona phakathi kwethu. Sibingelele futhi ku-CEO we-Durban Chamber of Commerce osinikeze input, umama uPhili, bengicishe kuphambanise ngithi uPhiri, cishe kufane kodwa uPhili. Siyabonga. Ama-chambers zonke that are represented in the council, sibingelele ku-Professor Umoyo, who also made an input. Thank you very much for your input and for coming. Sibingelele kudadewethu uKhumalo, naye usinikeza inkulumo. Siyabonga kakhulu ngokuba khona kwenu. All sectors represented in the council, the business sector, unions, organized labor present, academia, civil society, youth, women, people with disabilities, and all other sectors, the interfaith and traditional leadership represented. The honorable members of the EThekwini Economic Council present, the administration of our city led by the acting city manager, Umagaye, with all the DCMs and the heads of department, Ushannon, head of economic development present and his team, and all other DCMs. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, Sanbonan. Amandla, awethu, phambili nentuthuko phambili. Phambili nentuthuko phambili. Siyabonga. Baba Mageba, iPPF ikhona phakathi kwethu, siyabonga. Sidisguisile manje ngiyakufuna lapha sengeze ngikuthola ngaphansi kwemask emnyama. Thank you very much. James from Umsunduzi, thank you for coming as well. Colleagues, on behalf of the people of EThekwini municipality, we are delighted to welcome you to this important gathering. We are gathered here today to witness a groundbreaking launch of the EThekwini Economic Council. Abaqashi bethu, the members of the public who are following us, ngoba kwesinye isikhathi sike sizikhohlise baholi, sithi thina singabahlonishwa. Abahlonishwa bangempela umphakathi osivotelayo. Thina singabaphathiswa bezinto zabahlonishwa. Sibingelele koba sibethu, basiholela njalo ngenyanga, ngikhumbula isimasha sithi asiholanga kule nyanga, basiphethe kahle kakhulu, nathi kumele sibaphathe kahle. Colleagues, before we begin with our input, it's important that we join the millions of South Africans and people of the world in our plight and strides to fight against racism. The attitude and behavior displayed by cliques is an attitude which have no place in our society. It's an attitude that we must all unite as people of South Africa and fight against the scourge of racism. The apology has come, but it's not enough. We want to see actions that will really convince our minds that the company is indeed entrenching its own program to fight against racism. This is one of the scourges that will never be tolerated in our society. Colleagues, today, the Council, among other things that we are going to be doing, will be tasked with the creation of a positive investor climate in our municipality and position our city as an investment destination of choice. The EThekwini Economic Council is an important platform for social partnership, consensus building among key stakeholders as we seek to build a resilient economy. What kind of resilience we are talking about? It's an economy that will be inclusive, that won't be entertaining the entry through our racial standing, and those who are disadvantaged should then be welcomed to come and partake in the mainstream economy. That's the resilience we are talking about. It's the economy that will always resist the temptation where other business people think that for you to get an opportunity, you must meet with the mayor at Hilton Hotel and make a deal. It's an economy that will reject corruption. It's an economy that will encourage people to participate from all their areas where they come from and where they live. It's an economy that will put forward the plight of the poor. It's an economy that will be inclusive, recognizing that without informal economy, there will be no economy. It's an economy that will be open for all. We also view this as a space for us as collectively to respond to challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequalities, which are permanent in the South African socio-economic landscape. It is our firm belief and conviction that it is only through these concerted efforts by all progressive forces that the historic interrelated contradictions of class, race, and gender will be ultimately defeated. Ladies and gentlemen, the EThekwini Economic Council seeks to marshal different stakeholders to unleash the economic potential of our city and to find a common solution to the socio-economic challenges plaguing our communities. We are a government that is committed to genuine consultation with all stakeholders. Hence, today we are entering in a social compact between government, organized labor, business, academia, traditional leadership, interfaith, civil society, as a commitment to grow the city's economy and build a better life for all. Let me take this opportunity to applaud all those who have accepted nomination to serve in this council. You have indeed shown that you are a patriot and have demonstrated your commitment to your city and the country at large. We encourage you to fully participate. This is not a council which will take a form of being a talk show. This is a council where we'll be able to give necessary advices to the council on strategic issues relating to our economy as a city. So if you may happen that you were nominated here but you do not want to work, my advice is that Polisa, Ushukutai, engathi ngene endaweni wrong. This is not a council of people who want position. This is a council of people who will bring innovative ideas coming on board so that we can bring about solutions to address the challenges that are confronting our economy and our society. Colleagues, the fact that the members of this council come from various sectors of the society clearly illustrates that this group of highly skilled people will play an instrumental role in managing differences that normally play themselves out among these stakeholders. Inkomba-nkombano ufanele iphele manje. Abenzi kahle labo, uhulumeni akenzi kahle. Ibhizinesi ayenzi kahle. I-traditional leadership ayenzi kahle. Ngakho-ke i-union ama-organized labor ayenzi kahle. Academia ayenzi kahle. Professor Moyo, we brought you here because we want to strike this synergy and alignment on the skills that are produced by our institutions of higher learning, so that we do not produce what we do not need in the economy. That's the reason why you are also part of this council. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the immediate tasks of this economic council will be to give guidance in the implementation of our post-COVID-19 pandemic economic recovery strategy and the radical socio-economic transformation program. You'll recall that when we tabled our budget this year in May, our policy statement, we indicated that our interventions as a city to drive socio-economic recovery will include the following. Firstly, increasing manufacturing capacity of local industries. Because we understand that as much as we have industries concentrated around the CBD, but there is a dire need to ensure that we reach out to communities where they are, in deep rural areas, in township, so that we become an industrial city. You can't be boasting with a port which is the biggest in the African hemisphere, but you are not producing. So therefore, we need to enhance our manufacturing capacity in our city. A minimum of 30% percentage of the city's procurement spend must be utilized to establish a sustainable social solidarity driven economy driven by social enterprises and cooperatives. Introduce infrastructure procurement reforms to drive emerging contractor development programs. Ayiphele lento ukuthi thiwa lezi inkampani ayina capacity. I-capacity ayithengwa bakwethu. There must be deliberate programs by this city for the emerging contractors to give them necessary support so that they start developing the capacity we are looking for. Now, le kuba reject and ukuthi yohlale kuthola lezi inkampani njalo izona eziyothola imisebenzi because zine capacity. Nayo yakhiwa leyo capacity. Kunganike laba abanye benganikezwe ithuba lokuthi nabo beyidevelop le capacity. We are a caring government. We are a government for the people, by the people. So therefore, we need to intervene in that space. Implement an aggressive ocean economy business strategy. We have put many plans in place. Kodwa nje okusalayo, the implementation. We always make a reference when we talk as the community of EThekwini, which we must defeat this disease called execution deficit. We have clear policies, clear programs, but the question that remains, why are we not enhancing our capacity and capabilities to implement what we have set for ourselves? That's what we must resolve. Siphelile isikhathi sokuxoxa mina. Masayimesela ukuthi sizohlangana sibukane nje ukuthi ubani ugqoke kanjani, it's not going to help us. Umphakathi out there, they are unemployed. People are losing their jobs. So this council must bring about solutions to those challenges. The establishment of this council, which we are launching today, to monitor the implementation, performance, and enforcement of sector broad-based black economic empowerment charters in the metro. But this government has developed good charters, which talks about empowerment, the issues of equity, but the challenge that remains, we are not enforcing such. So this council will have different streams, working streams. We should be zooming to the sector of the manufacturing, the tourism, transport and logistics, finance and trade, and all other sectors, construction, agriculture, so that we are able to bring about answers to those charters. Why are we not implementing such good charters that if we were implementing them, would have been walked a long journey to change the lives of the people for the better? We are revolutionaries. We can't claim the status of being revolutionaries if there's no fundamental change and material change to our people. So therefore, we are called upon to bring about fundamental change in the space where the economy is also applied. We also made a call to establish an enterprise and supplier development fund to drive value chain beneficiation, support the informal township economy and rural economies, SMMEs, and social enterprise development. Why we are calling for this, colleagues, is because we have a firm belief yokuthi umnotho imali khona inking ukuthi i-circulate kanjani. So what we need to address here is the circulation of this money. And for us to do that, let's support enterprises and supplier developers so that we will be able to respond to their plight. Ake sithathe nje umzekeliso uma kuthiwa kwakhiwa imall. Uma kuthiwa nansi imall yakhiwa lapha ngakithi eNanda. Kungani abantu baseNanda bengaprepare because sisuke sikwazi kukhona kuma plans ethu. Kungani abantu baseMbumbulu? Kungani abantu baseMgababa? Kungani abantu bakwaXimba bengaprepare ukuthi kuza imall? Njengoba kuza imall, you must become the producers of the material that will be constructing the mall. And that requires deliberate support from government. It can't just happen automatically. It requires dedication from ourselves, political will. Siyeke bakuthi kuxoxa into engayindawo. Hey sesixoxile bo. Angazi manga ama conference sengawa attend. Hey sibesixoxa lapho futhi sixoxe kuze komamati. But problem kwenzakalani? Now, when you go to a rural area, you construct a road. You can't say you have addressed the challenges of that community. If kulowo mphakathi in deep rural area, abantu bakhona bezogcina ngokuqashwa beshaye ifosholo. Abantu bakhona bezoqashwa begadi material bebe ama security begadi material. Kodwa abantu balowo mphakathi, they must be part of that economic activity through social enterprises. Go to those households which we as government, we have identified these are poor households, put them together and bring them into a social enterprise so that they can start packeting in the economy in their area. That's what we intend to. Kodwa i-economy exclusive. Ile yokuthi ukhawunda afika athola itender ka 10 million kulo mphakathi ka 15 million afike aqasha abantu ashiya ngashiya lutho lapha ahambe neprofit umphakathi mase ethi uhlomule ngomgwaqo suyitiyela. That is not what we envisage. What we envisage is the meaningful contribution that these communities should also partake in that economic activity. Now the youth is there, remaining unemployed, women, people with disabilities, military veterans. Kuyihlazo nje futhi kuyinhlamba ukuthi abantu bengahamba bese bancane beyolula lelizwe ukuthi likhululeke. Mase belulele lelizwe ukuthi likhululeke bebuye eSouth Africa. Selikhululekile but kube yibona bayodla emgqomeni kaDuti. It's an insult to the revolution. So we need to change that and change that for the better so that their lives are also taken care of. Masikhuluma ngeparticipation of military veterans, asisho the elites within the MK, MVA, APLA or Azanla, all these forces, military forces. But we actually mean that those who fought for our country to be liberated as a whole, they must start benefiting. Musani ukuthola nina amathuba ndibe mbalwa mase nizobaqasha bezisebenzi zenu. That's why we need social enterprises. When we talk about the support of communities, there is a shift that we may need to take soon. Khona kufanele singakwenzi ngamathenda. It's not everything that government must do through tenders. Khona kufanele sikwenze through community development, where our communities will participate in cleaning their bushes, clearing overgrown veggies, patching potholes. Why do you want to take that and outsource it to a particular individual? Why don't we shift and take that to the community so that the community will start really acknowledging that government is government of ours. It's not that lo masipala letha abantu abambalwa ukuthiwa bathola amathenda nabo bawathole ngendlela ukuthi beze kumina njengokhawunda kwathi ukhawunda hayi uya coordinate impela if inkampani yakhe ingekho elistini kakhawunda you won't get a tender. That is unacceptable and it won't happen. Now we need to support them. You can't develop abantu uthi asakha ama cooperatives, asakha ama social enterprises, but you don't have mechanisms to give necessary support for the growth of such structures. The reason why ama cooperatives efile simane reduce to izinto ze catering is because swasungulile and we don't give them necessary support. Today swanikeza catering, na catering yama cooperatives. Go to other countries like go Kenya, go Australia, you can look at the role that cooperatives are playing in the economy of those countries. Serious contribution in the economy. Holding big shares in big companies and stakes. So why is South Africa ma cooperatives and social enterprise? Go abantu abazothiwa yenzani catering la. So we need to change that. We need to implement a skills revolution master plan and syndicate skills development fund across government, private sector and donors focusing on the skills for the future. Align key economic sectors to higher education institutions to create specialized centers of excellence in the production of skills for the new economy. As I call the new normal, this new normal brought new opportunities for new businesses also to thrive. So those businesses must come on board, but they need support. We must support and sustain the existing ones, but we must also open the doors for the new ones to come in. Collaboration with the government warehouse platform to support the local informal, township, and rural economies. We need to align the implementation of Agri-Parks program with rural economic development initiatives. How come this big city kungathiwa sikwazi ukuproduce ukudla? Firstly, you have your strength, and that strength is that you have iDube Trade Port. You have your port here in Durban. But I'll produce lutho. When nje urefri ushaya impindwebo ushayela laba bangenisa umnotho bewukhiphe. But uyitheku elikhulu kangaka neKwaZulu Natal, you don't benefit from that. Ngicabanga ukuthi nazi inkampani ezikwamanye amazwe zibuye zisibuze nje kodwa labantu banjani. Silithatha impela igolide silindizise lihambe liyodala amathuba kwenye indawo. Bayabuza labantu abayifuna imisebenzi. So we need to change that. We need to change that. If nathi as a municipality we've been buying goods, some products, siwathenga ngaphesheya, ake siyoxoxa nabo manje ukuthi sizowathenga wona, kodwa ke nizovula iplant la eThekwini. Mase nivula iplant la eThekwini soxoxisana futhi ukuthi phela abantu balapha eThekwini ababe yiningi kwabahlomulayo. Lokho kusho ukuthi address inkinga ye-employment ngoba abantu bakithi ngeke silokho sikhiphe imali enkulu ama-billions sithenge izinto sekuzokhiqizwa la zonke izinto zenziwe la so ke amathuba omsebenzi azovuleka ngaloo ndlela. This is not just a theory. We have put plans as part of theorizing on it. Now we need practical steps to move a step ahead to implement such. We need to develop appropriate stimulus packages focused on reducing cost of doing business for distressed sectors such as tourism sector and manufacturing and other sectors. Implement aggressive energy reform driven by renewable energy. Utilize the green economy to create jobs and support social enterprises. Bawo oil silungise udoti lesingawubuki njengento sengathi into enukayo. We need to take youth, women, people with disability, and many other people in different sectors in our society to partake in such activities. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fully conscious of the fact that the city alone will not be able to achieve these bold interventions I've alluded to. Therefore, this Economic Council, which will be chaired by the mayor, must hit the ground running and put tangible plans in place. We must also be able to monitor the implementation of these interventions because they have a huge potential in boosting our economy and reducing job losses that we've been observing. Ultimately, this must lead to an increase in investment in the city and revenue generation. Program Director, as you know that the world is faced with an unprecedented challenge of COVID-19 pandemic, and South Africa has not been spared from this catastrophe. As of 17th August, the country moved to lockdown level 2 according to the risk-adjusted strategy, which introduced a phased reopening of the economy to limit the spread of the virus while balancing the negative impact that is happening in our economy. We must commend President, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, and the Cabinet for swift action in implementing hard lockdown earlier in the pandemic and introducing the travel ban. This action bought the country some time to prepare a large-scale health response, which we have seen the results. When we have reached close to 90% recoveries, so it means that your system have worked. It's not given that when you put your systems will work, but you only can be able to see that through the results. We believe this strategy was successful because while the virus did spread rapidly, our health response was able to save lives and limit the damage that the virus could otherwise cause. While the lockdown rules across the globe have been necessary, they have had an undesired impact on the economy of our country and the world. South Africa is facing COVID-19 pandemic at a time when the country's economy was already at a weak point with very low GDP growth, escalating public debts, a credit rating downgrade, high levels of unemployment, and fiscal constraints. Colleagues, we are deeply concerned that even during this time of such a grave health crisis affecting our people, some have decided to prey on the plight of our people by using it as an opportunity to enrich themselves. We strongly condemn any corruption in the COVID-19 emergency procurement and support the President's call to bring all those implicated in corruption to book. We as a council have decided, we have taken a decision that we are going to subject all COVID-19 expenditure through our internal audits. And from there, we'll be able to take decisions. Yabona ke lento corruption ihlupha ngento eyodwa. Ngoba ukuthi noma sewukhuziwe kodwa ngenxa ukuthi siyisifo, yabona uma unesifo nje ayilapheki kalula. Isiyisifo nami bayagula abantu. Fanele beyolashwa abantu bayagula ngempela. Ukuntshontshe sewukhuziwe uthi ungantshontshi. Hayi la eThekwini sasho nje siqala iCovid-19. Ku-command team yethu, ku-COVID-19 command team, sathi ningantshotshi. Kodwa today, sine expenditure far exceeded ama-guidelines ka-National Treasury by 500%. That can't be allowed. Whoever who's involved there must face the music. And there's no other way. We can't massage corruption. It doesn't need our massage. We need to be decisive to fight against this scourge. So if that it cost lives, let us mobilize the community. I don't think there's somebody who's bigger than the community. Let us all unite against this corruption, so we'll be able to defeat it. It is a big sketch, but we'll be able to defeat it. Akho umuntu ozodla imali yomphakathi la. Sabakhuza bayidlile. Akuveleke sithi manager ngokusheshsha. Obani abayidlile. Funa amagama nayibona akho umuntu onegama kuphela kunesibongo phakathi. Kune-address phakathi. So therefore, those people must be dealt with. Ladies and gentlemen, this economic crisis has challenged the fundamental assumptions upon which the economy is based. It has forced firms and governments to prioritize essential services and rapidly move systems online to enable business continuity. A failure to move quickly and adjust to the new normal has resulted in numerous businesses succumbing and closing or going into business rescue, while others have been pushed to deep into debts. The data released yesterday by Statistics South Africa paints a gloomy picture as South Africa's gross domestic product shrank by 51% in the second quarter of this year. This is a large attribute to the COVID-19 lockdown. Manufacturing contracted by a massive 74.9% during the same period. A decrease of 67% was reported in the trade, catering, and accommodation industries. Working together, we must ensure that over the next 12 months, All our sectors of the economy are on the road to recovery and retaining the jobs they have lost. While we acknowledge that we have a tough and long road ahead of us, we must find a solace from the 15.1% growth that was recorded in the agriculture, forestry, and fishing industries. This gives us some strength. For us as a coastal city, we need innovative and audacious plans that will bolster our economic recovery strategies. We must be able to take advantage of our vast coastal and marine resources that are at our disposal. We believe this is the tight time to unlock the ocean's economy and realize our full potential in this area. Akuhlazo leli ngesaba nami ukubizwa ngomeya lapha kuthiwa ninolwandle olukhulu kangaka kodwa nje ibusiness nje along the coastal line kushaya nje 8 o'clock sekuthulekile kuyalalwa 8 o'clock akusekho economic activities along the coastal line. Where have you seen a coastal city and a port city shutting down at 8 o'clock? So we need to turn that situation for the better. Colleagues, another sector that is showing prospects of creating the new jobs during the difficult period is construction and infrastructure development. Therefore, as social partners, we must put practical plans to accelerate the implementation of our large-scale catalytic projects, such as the 25 billion rand Clearwood Logistics Park, 35 billion rand Point redevelopment, 900 million rand Midway Crossing, 6 billion rand Keystone Logistic Park, 30 billion Automotive Supply Park in Umnini, 12 billion Njongweni and Nodal Development, 13 billion Dube Trade Port, 26 billion Konupa Development. The list is endless. These are the key projects, even along the coast here. The Isbaya development, we need to take those developments forward. Collectively, we must also increase the pace of moving Durban towards being a smart city and build ecosystems of the fourth industrial revolution. The continued Erythropolis development around the King Shaka Airport and the establishment of innovative centers in township and rural areas present new opportunities for us to attract new technology companies in our city and to empower young people to create opportunities for new businesses and jobs where they live. This is critical in our endeavors to industrialize the city, particularly in our township and rural areas. Sike sabuzana nje siyabaholi bala eThekwini ukuthi ngampela sesingaze sothatha into ebizwa ngokuthi ama-smart water meters siwathatha kwelinye izwe nakhona osuku outdated la uma systems swathathe siwa-adopte kuba ama-systems esiwasebenzisa sikhokha ama-billions of rands lapha suka khona awasasebenzi nanokusebenza outdated. We said young people must be brought on board. Young people do have innovation. Young people can create these packages. Young people, if they are given opportunities, can do wonders. So therefore, we've appealed to the youth of this municipality. Come on board, bring ideas, this is your opportunity so that you can take this city forward. Asikwazi ukuspenda ama-billions, siyolanda ama-product angaphandle amanye, asiwaproduce la ekhaya. Local is legal. It's not everything that will be addressed through what we import. Some of the things require the African solutions. So we as Africans here, we must produce in Africa. We do have capacity and capabilities, let us do that. Hlangana Africa, producer. Program Director, while our country is blessed with a youthful population, we remain poor because we have not invested adequate resources in the development of our youth. To address this situation, we are finalizing plans to establish a mayoral jobs creation and skills revolution war room that will focus on, among other things, developing a skills revolution program for the youth and drive vibrant township and rural economies. This is another critical area where we'll require the expertise and guidance of this council, Economic Council. Remember, this Economic Council will be advising the council. So this war room will be an implementing arm of what the council will be bringing to the council. So that izinto ingafiki ihlale lapha kumashalufu. Izinto ezixoxwa ngapha nama-advices sithola ngapha siwa-translate eza ngapha siwa-translate into action. Ngoba bakuthi siphelile isikhathi sokuxoxa. Mawusayimisela ukuxoxa, ngicabanga ukuthi sonke sasinabazukulu manje usungakwazi ukuxoxela abazukulu. Okubalekile manje ukuthi siqinisekise ukuthi hayi wena khumana ukuthi kubalekile ukuthi sikwazi ukulungisa lezo zimo. So we request that we work together. Ladies and gentlemen, the damage to the economy has affected the collection rate of our municipality, and it will take years or some time to get back to normal. As the city, we have taken the lead in the country by not only putting in place health and social interventions, but to set out a path to economic recovery. We were the first city to produce such a plan. Returning to pre-pandemic approaches and old methods of stimulating the economy are no longer appropriate. Not only did pandemic cause economic activity to plummet, it also exposed the fault lines in the economy that we have. In the words of Albert Einstein, I quote him, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." I close quote. Economic recovery is not meaningful unless it has widespread benefit to all our people. Inclusive growth cannot be achieved by a business as usual approach. The city must take and make a strategic shift in the way it works with citizens and stakeholders. If we are to achieve true economic transformation, we must be deliberate in our approach, firmly resolved to achieve our targets as we forge partnerships and social coalitions in our efforts to bring meaningful change. Again, as the city and government, we recognize that we can't do this alone. We need our partners. We are pleased that key partnerships have been developed through initiatives such as Team Durban and Shape Durban. The EThekwini Economic Council that we are launching today builds on all this work and takes it further to put in place systems to deliver on our promise for a better life for all. We are confident that together we'll build an economy that places people at the center of our recovery strategies. We want to reiterate that the success of this council will depend largely on the effective participation of all members. We are fully aware that this is a huge responsibility that will need our unwavering dedication and enthusiasm. As EThekwini Municipality leadership, we commit ourselves to spare no effort to contribute to the success of this Economic Council. Therefore, Program Director, I formally introduce to you the EThekwini Economic Council. Durban is now open for business. Together, let's grow our city and build a better life for all. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob Mayor. I know we started a bit late, and we have to finish by 12 o'clock. But maybe there are one or two hands who want to, hopefully, who wants to echo what the mayor has said. If there are such hands, I can take one or two. And then after that, we will then close and then allow the members of the media to interact with the mayor. So I've seen 3 hands. Any other hand? 4, 5. Okay, thank you. So we will start with you, Brian, and then we'll go to the back. There is a hand from the lady with the red mask, and then we will take Moses, and then we will take Ubaba Lapambeli. I think there was another hand this side. No, I've not heard you, ma'am. And then we'll take the gentleman at the back, and then we'll close. Okay, Can we be brief in our comment? Brian?
Thank you, Program Director. Greetings to you, Babu Mayor, Mam Kulisi, Magai, and Nkosi. I'd like to place on record, Babu Mayor, netimba elikhona namhlanje ukuthi on the side of infrastructure and construction, the 4 billion rand Oceans Umhlanga development will be back in full force by October this year, which will see a few hundred jobs come online, and that is a good story to tell in light of the pandemic. All the hearsay that has been going on and doing its rounds in the media, it is just that hearsay. The catalytic project, which is Oceans, we see it as a keystone project that will uplift the node of the North in terms of jobs, but more so the 25,000 shareholders who've invested will see and reap benefits, and it will put the North on the map. Angbong, Program Director, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Tembe.
The Program Director, Jobe. Is it working? Thanks, Program Director Jobe. Let me recognize His Worship the Mayor, Umam Kolisi, and Municipal Manager Tundosi. Ngiyabona inkosi umlaba usephumile. I don't have a question, Mayor, but we are quite encouraged by your words and presentation. My high school principal used to tell us about a disease called exchusitis. You could go to the dictionary, you might not find that word, exchusitis. What makes this disease to thrive in the public sector in particular? You always manage by objectives, which is a concept that is acceptable in the management. If you study all management studies, they will be talking about management by objectives. But what you are not doing in particular is managing by objectives and time frames. I think that is your challenge. In the public sector, you do tell us that you'll be doing this and you'll be doing that, and it all sounds good. But what you never say, you never tell us that you'll be doing this and by when, and if it is not done by that date, who will be fired? That's how we run businesses. Hence, you see things happen. People always argue that the public sector does not have the capability. We talk about, creating the capability of the state. But you need to go back to 2010, where we delivered a 2010 World Cup and delivered it better than many other countries in the world. Are you going to tell me that that capability has been decimated? It's not true. But we knew that unless we deliver 2010 by X, Y, Z, it won't happen in the country. Very few people in the public sector miss the plane because you know that the plane won't wait for you. So I want to tell you, Mayor, that unless you manage your people, you manage your colleagues by objectives and time frames, you will suffer and suffer the disease called exchusitis, because there will always be excuses why XYZ has not been delivered. Thank you.
Bekade ngithe kuzoba usisi lapha emuva. Okay, so ngiyahluleka ukubiza leli gama okulisho. Kodwa kusho ukuthi abantu abaguliswa yi-excuse. Babdembe. Ukuze abantu bakwazi ukuyibamba kahle ukuthi abantu abaguliswa yi-excuse. Yebo sisi.
Okay. Greetings to the mayor and all the other mayors and business people and academias present. My name is Shulam Mhlongo and I'm from KZN Namusha Community Newspaper. First of all, I would like to commend and congratulate EThekwini Municipality for appointing Economic Council, which is going to be led by the Honorable Mayor. As a media person, I truly feel it is a very good story to tell. But I have one question that I would like to direct to the mayor himself. That during the time of lockdown, due to this COVID-19 pandemic, suppliers experienced slow issuing of order numbers, delayed payments, and unanswered telephone calls in the offices because staff members were not available in the office. And even if they were in the offices, then when they come back, it would be difficult to find them. And in the process, there was delayed in payments, which also contributes to the problem of economic slowdown. And then my second question goes to Professor Moyo from DUT. I just want to find out if DUT has identified a new strategy to prepare the students to be able to manage a new normal so as to reduce the problem of unemployable graduates due to the fact that they do not have the skills required by various industries. I thank you.
Okay, kukhona ubhoti emuva yebo.
Hello.
Yebo sakuzwa.
Siyabonga baba Sihlalo. Sibingelele kubaba uMayor nalonke encourage yakhe and all protocol observed. My name is J.V. Ngumalo from Nafkok. So, Mr. Mayor, you touched a very important issue of township and rural development. Our question is so simple, Bob. How are you planning to develop township and rural entrepreneurs? Because we were thinking, because in Nafkok we work with SMMEs, we work with entrepreneurs that are not in that level, at a local base level. So we want to know how or who is going to, or which department is going to drive this type of economy in the township as well as in the rural area. Thank you.
Okay, ngicabanga ukuthi isandla sokugcina beku ubaba la phambili. Zothu. Oh, yebo.
Thank you, Program Director. My name is Sizwe Ngobo, the Mayor for Oko. Firstly, Program Director, I just want to take this opportunity and thank the initiative that EThekwini came with. It's not a question. You know, when you look at EThekwini, you will think of South Africa in Africa, with the muscle that EThekwini has. Yes, it's a new initiative. There might be challenges of which we don't think so. But we will appreciate maybe if the mayor can also assist other district municipalities just with information how we came to this level, or able to have a team that can assist those municipalities who will be willing to be assisted, so that such things can be done in the whole province. I think we can build this province in South Africa by so doing. Thank you very much.
Siyabonga. Bese ngicela usize la ku baba umeya bese siyavala ngokwezandla.
No, thank you very much, Program Director. My name is Zamon Ngumalo, the District Mayor of Herigwana, Le Eqobo. Greetings to you, the Mayor, Baba Ukaunda, Uslalo, Baba Usabelo, MM, Kanye Nenkosi in absentia. My one Babu Jobe is to you, that the Mayor has spoken. I'm appealing to you, Nobabu Uguti, please guys deliver. And to Babu Mayor, Beno Sabelo, as has the Mayor has alluded that we normally have good policies and plans, but we've got execution deficit. I'm appealing to both of them that they must even check the issue of monitoring and evaluation deficit. They must follow this up, and I consider myself lucky to be invited here. We will come back to do the study tour of all the things that the Mayor has done, and thanks to work with the business. Big companies today are big because the government before 1994 had a deliberate effort to develop them, as the Mayor was alluding. Professor Moyo, ngizocela ukumbona makuphela meeting, because she spoke very well about government, the collaboration with academia and other things. I think if sesixoxe naye nosihlalo akaSalka, even us as councillors, we need to be developed. Mhlambe ke uDUT asenzele a certain program ngoba this new normal of virtual, I think we will be able to attend as councillors, not that we will drive to certain areas in the afternoons, so that even ourselves will be well equipped. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Siyabonga. So tetela ukuthi sikwazi ukuphendula. Kodwa ke ubaba uTembu uthe management by objectives and timelines. So ubaba umeya lapho mehlala phansi uthi mina noNdosi kuzodilwa ngathi. So, yeah, Prof, if you can respond before we allow the Mayor to wrap up in terms of responses.
Thank you for that. Is this my...
Yeah, yes, madam.
Okay, yeah, well, thank you so much for that question. So the question was about what DUT is doing, but today I was representing, I think, academia in general, but I can talk a little bit about what most universities are doing. Currently, the Department of Higher Education and Training, which, remember, doesn't just cover universities, but the TVETs are part of that as well. We have what we call the Entrepreneurial Development in Higher Education program, which every university is implementing. But with entrepreneurship, maybe before I go to that, just on the DUT side, yes, we do have a plan. It's called Envision 2030. And in fact, today, just at about 2 o'clock, we are in another engagement with Itala, for example, which, where we are collaborating on the Innovation Hub, which needs not just university partners, it needs industry partners. It needs to be a place where different companies come together, the academia come together, the students, when they are not in the formal program in the classroom, they can go to that place, the hub, where they can experiment ideas. We support small micro businesses for students, and in fact, we do put in funding every year where students, if they present their case, for example, business case, and the idea is accepted, they can be funded for their business. And we do that funding and support them until they graduate. It's a 2-year program. We started in 2018, and so far we have created 150 jobs, and we have supported more than at least 100 small student enterprises. But you know that SMMEs, if you don't continue supporting them, they'll fail within the first 2 years. And also that means the connection with people who are well-established, big business is also very important, because you can support a small business, but if you don't check, is there a market for what you are producing? Who's going to use it? What's the effect of that product on the people that you are producing it for, especially if it's an innovation? So when I talked about the links between government, local government, we work very closely with the city. And like the mayor said, in fact, we have a research committee which works with the city, but I know that through this program we can do more, because what is needed is scale. Remember, just DUT on its own has over 33,000 students. We produce around 6,000 students annually. So when you ask yourself, where do these people go? What happens to them? So what we're looking at are graduate attributes, which are beyond just students thinking that when I come to university, I must just get a bursary. Everybody wants, give me something, give me something. What we're trying to train is to say, you should also think about, what can I give back to the community that gave me the chance to get this education? What can I do for my community where I come from? So I think the link with, the rural economy, trying to go back to the roots, is very important for us. So I can say, yes, the universities are trying to do something, but again, we cannot be effective if we just think we can do it on our own. So the big drive is to form these partnerships, which will help to deliver on that. And the Nuvabu Council, I think, said something about DUT and the councillors. We've done programs with councillors before, and we'll be very happy to engage, maybe through SAUG as well, to just see how we can contribute, if there's anything that we can do, especially on the digital platform as well. Thank you.
Okay, Siyabonga. Thank you very much, Prof. I think we have come to towards the end, and Ubab Mayor will respond, maybe assisted by city manager. Maybe let me start with the city manager, if he has a few words to say before we go to Ubab Mayor. You're right. Okay. No, the city manager is requesting that we request the mayor. We are trying to manage by objectives and time frames.
Thank you very much. Am I audible enough? Thank you. So even if I don't remove my mask. Thank you very much for the inputs and questions. We want to follow you, Babdem. We want to follow you as private sector, how you function. Now, last is about targets. So when we have set the targets for ourselves, so monga hambisi inqoli ephambili fanele sizame eminye imizamo ukuthi kudlwa kanjani sikwazi ukuhamba nabazoyisa phambili. Ayikho siyazi imithetho iyasibopha kakhulu, kodwa phela ne-performance ikhona, athi sign ama-performance contracts. So monga perform in accordance with what is there in your contract, we must be decisive enough to take actions. This is not an intimidation, Chair of SALCA. It's a commitment that let's work. Those days are gone where the public sector can always be regarded as a lazy arm. So those days are gone. Now, moving from here, within a period of 2 weeks, the inaugural meeting of this council will take place, so that we don't sit up until the other month. So it will take place so that we formalize things and we craft clear plans as to how we are going to be operating. So within a period of 2 weeks. So I'm now responding to you about time frames. I would go launchiwe, but akusekho lutho afterwards. Then the other question was related from Udadwethu Mhlongo. Yes, we're not immune as a sector, public sector, in this COVID-19. We were affected as well. Many of our employees contracted the pandemic. As a result, we were unable to have revenue running as expected. we were unable to collect. If you look at April, our collection rate dropped to 56%. So it shows you that the impact was huge. Now we are bringing back, we are now operating at a level of towards 100% because we are working together with organized labor to bring back people. But we are still not immune, others are still taking leave. For example, we did not have a council meeting in July, and the reason for that is City Hall yonke ivaliwe. Administration was not there. Ekuyiyona prepare ama meetings nazo zonke izinto. So awukwazi ukuthi uzothi abasebenzele ekhaya badinga bebe khona emsebenzini physical to coordinate some of the things. So those were the challenges that we're faced with. Our policy is clear that part of the individual performance contracts of senior management is the payment of businesses within 14 days. So we make reference to 14 days because of those businesses who will submit justifiable invoices for them to be paid. So we want to stick to that and to ensure that we push it in that way. As a municipality, we are trying to improve from that. Many businesses were affected because, as you have said, order numbers were unable to issue them on time and the payments as well, but the situation is now improving. Then Sibongeke, Kubabunqumalo, he raised the issue of how do we intend developing small businesses in rural and township economies. As we have said in our statement, that firstly, the reason why we are bringing Amakosi to be part of this council is for us to put even deep rural areas into our spatial development plans so that you don't have a disalignment. In rural areas, we are seeing these mushrooming mansions, but some of them, they are built without any clear plans. Kumane kwakhiwe nje kwakhiwe izindlu ezinhle zilandelana ukuthi amapipe endle, the sewer pipe, sewer line, your water, the infrastructure, the bulk infrastructure, how we're going to install it, the way people are building. So we need this memorandum of understanding with Amakosi, signing the compact of working together, as Inkosi Mlaba is committed that their presence in this council is also to actually address that. The local economies, you don't start big, you start small. Now, the challenge that we've been having, EPE unit, see, local economic development is a small business unit in this municipality. But it's an insult for any employee, DCM, usithole, umuntu osebenza kwa small business, adlule nje abantu bezamela emphakathini, adlule njengababingeleli abuze ukuthi hey nizama kangakanani la, yipi support enidingayo la. Because that needs assessment is very critical. Asingabadlula abantu beyibhatanisela lapha emgwaqweni. Umuntu oyikhandela imoto ubhuti waziwayo lo udumile kuthi uyena okhanda imoto. Ake siyombuza ukuthi uaccreditiwe yini, ibusiness iregistiwe yini. So yipi intervention esingakwenzela yona ukuze run this business formally, uqashe nabantu, because those local employments will come through these small economic activities, not the bigger industries. So it's important that we intervene, give necessary support through prior learning recognition. Some of these colleagues, but more than 30 years, but so now uhulumeni must come in and say, ake sikwenzele an automotive park la eMlazi, njengoba kukhona le uDCM ayilida nomnyango wakhe eso yakhe eMlazi support uToyota. Ake sibenzele ngabakhanda imoto asibenzele ipark yabo la, so that they can work in a very organized and formal facility that will enable to make business better. So those are the kind of interventions which we intend doing. But in rural areas, Chair, as I'm landing, they still have potential because there is still land available. So that land that is available, asingayidamage. Akuyona yonke kufanele sifake izindlu. Siyafuna ukuthi yonke indawo ibe nezindlu, kodwa that land, some of it must be reserved for strategic economic activities so that people do not migrate from rural areas to come to the CBD because they have nothing to do there where they are located. So those are kind of strategies that we are putting together so that we intervene. Lastly, it's important to make our committees work and be productive in many ways. There are small things, as we have said. Those things, cooperative, abenze uniform. Why really sonke sibuya size ngapha edolobheni sizoyithenga ngapha? Why singabasupport nje kahle clearly bebe producele izikole lama uniform? Why thina ama uniform ethu kwamasipala abasebenzi bethu siwathenge eCape Town? Why? Is there anything that compels us to attend Cape Town? No, there's nothing. So we need to produce locally. So that's where we want to go. But thank you very much to all leaders who have contributed and participants. To us, we are able to work with all stakeholders, and we are willing to really acknowledge their contribution. With the municipalities, will be available, Chair, as a city, if you want us to share with other municipalities on what we are doing, and they come as Councillor Nxumalo has said to Mayor, they will come here, nathi kuningi esokufunda kuyena. Ufuyile ke yena, unemfuyo laphana. So nathi sinalo iplaza silithengile. Mhlawumbe ukuze sibe right fanele siyofunda lapha kuyena eHerigwala ukuthi manje bayenza kanjani lento yemfuyo ngoba noClover ugcina uqhamuka ngakubona. So kubalulekile ke lokho. Nangalapha eZululand ezolimo babumeya. Sishiye nje ipolitiki yethu eceleni. Ngiyayithanda lento yokusebenza kanje. Ipolitiki ayisuthisi umuntu. Into ebalulekile ukuthi siguqule impilo zabantu zibe ngcono. Ukuthi lo mkhandlu uphethe ubani okubalulekile, let's work together. We are from the same province, so we must work together, collaborate with one another, then we'll get the results out of that. Thank you very much, Chair. Siyabonga kunina nonke.
Yebo. Siyabonga kakhulu babumeya. Ngizocela ubaba uKhansela uSipho Khawundeze ngaphambili ezolungiselela ukuthi sivale umcimbi wethu namhlanje. Kodwa ke we are requesting babumeya that once Councillor Kaunda has done his vote of thanks, we are going to have a photo session. I think there are about 3 sessions of that. That will be after the vote of thanks by Councillor Kaunda. Councillor Kaunda is a chairperson of our committee, which is Economic Development and Planning Committee. So he has been with the committee for 4 years. And he has been with council, I don't know, maybe 15 years. So he has been in various positions within council. Siyabonga baba.
Okay. Let me greet and also thank the program director, DCM Sitole, and also greet and thank His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Kaunda, the chairperson of Salga, KZN, as well as the mayor, district mayor of King Cetshwayo, district mayor of Herigwala, Ubaba Nxumalo, district mayor of Uku, Ubaba Ngobo, district mayor of Zululand, Ubaba Telezi, members of the ESCO present, chief whip, acting city manager, members of the business sector, organized labor, and various formations, members of the Economic Council present, the previous speakers, Professor Moyo and Ms. Kumalo, traditional leaders, faith-based organization, women and youth formations, military veterans, organizations that deal with the people living with disability. The list is long, but I'll say all protocol observed. It is now evident that the
EThekwini Economic Council have been launched. So therefore, I would like to congratulate you on your inaugural to EThekwini Economic Council. This is an exciting point in our history as the city, and a chance to re-engineer an economy in which the future generation will be able to prosper. With this, I would also like to thank you for your raising your hands to build a new social contract for EThekwini. Our initial forecast was that if we are to continue to tirelessly implement the recovery plan throughout the year, together with the national interventions, we will claim back 6% growth for the GDP of the city. We can also claim 18 billion for the business, homes and the people of the city, but only if we hold hands and continue to implement without ceasing. With the caliber of leaders represented in this council and the determination and dedication dedication to the city that you display, we can surely even do far greater. This is why we are grateful to and for every economic stakeholders represented in this council. We have not chosen you lightly and are appreciative that you have heeded a call to build a new partnership in the city under the leadership of His the Worship, the Mayor, Councillor Mxolisi Kaunda. Every council member has taken the time to invest skills, strategic insight, influence for building a city which our people can be proud of. Therefore, as EThekwini, we can do it. We are also well renowned for taking initiatives. We have received an accolade both from the national as well as from the World Bank on our proactive response to the pandemic. Through our economic recovery plan, we are grateful to His Worship, the Mayor, Councillor Mxolisi Kaunda, for his vision to build this social contract well before the COVID exposed the need for them globally. Surely we can do greater things together while we are aware of our challenges. This is a chance for us to roll our sleeves and steer the city into more equitable, sustainable, innovative economy that honors the dignity of every human being. We are looking forward to a fruitful and productive journey with you all. Let me assure you that in all streams that will form part of this Economic Council, the municipality will be represented in a form of officials from various departments, as well as clusters, councillors from various clusters that are relevant to that particular stream, because we have the cluster or the portfolio committee that deal with infrastructure, also have the economy cluster, we also have those that deal with the creative art, etc. So therefore, we will be part of this Economic Council in the streams. So I would like to thank you all for coming, and also thank our councillors and our members of the public who are with us through virtual. We're also grateful that you are all here. Thank you very much, Babu Mayor, and also thank the department for organizing this fruitful meeting that we have just witnessed today. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Okay, Simemezelo, Mayor is requesting me to remind participants here that there's been an advert that has been issued by EThekwini for small businesses on the Economic Recovery Fund. So it's just a reminder that you must inform your members about that. So we are now going to have a group photo. By group photo, I don't know whether, if you can come forward and explain it, Futhi. But group photo, I thought you meant everybody here. So I don't want to misrepresent you. But these are members of the Economic Council, and I feel that we can all take the group photo. But you can, is it okay? Yeah. So we'll request abantu abashaya isithombe ukuthi bazosihlela sikwazi ukuthatha le group photo. Ngasewenza kanjani ngoba khona social distancing. Noma sewenza in groups. Okay, whilst sisa organize from here we will be notified by Futhi and other officials who are working with Futhi in terms of the next meetings. But Ubab Mayor, as he has indicated that in 2 weeks' time there must be a formal meeting of the Economic Council. So that meeting will be organized by Futhi, and we will try to ensure that it's not a whole day meeting, but it's a business-like meeting. So there will be an engagement through my office with everybody here. Then after that, we'll have sector-based meetings. So ngicela ke abashuthayo bas organize ukuthi sikwazi ukushutheka. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much, Siyabonga DCM. So just for social distancing, so the first 3 rows, we'll take the first 3 rows with Ubab Mayor, and then thereafter, we'll take the remainder also with the delegation Gabab Mayor. Siyabonga. And just after the photo taking, we have prepared a lunch on the next room. The dining is on that, the room just behind this conference room, and you'll be served with, you'll get a package, and you'll just have it at the dining area just behind this room here. Thank you. The 2 minutes.